So how do you set up something like Veterans with
Well, the
Dogs?
first thing I did was a lot of research, was to look around the world and see what had been done with dogs for mental health. And I had to gather a small team of professionals around me because A, I'm not a psychologist, and B, I'm not an animal behaviorist. So I got those together. And then I had to find funding in order to run a pilot program, which is where the National Lottery came in.
So how did that work?
So what they did was they gave me funding for a pilot program of a year. And over that year, I ran residential training programs with veterans and their own dogs so that we could see what we could do training wise and the differences that we could make with the dogs and those veterans.
And were you aware that the National Lottery may consider this?
Initially, everybody turned me down for funding. Nobody would help me, and it was the National Lottery were the ones that was stepped up. I approached them initially, thinking I didn't have two hopes and a hell's chance of getting any help.
Thank you for paraphrasing.
And to be honest, it was the absolute opposite. They were absolutely wonderful with me. They took me really seriously. They could see exactly what I was trying to achieve. And because we were a new charity, they understood the difficulties of being able to try and find funding to get things up off the ground.
Right, so that was 10 years ago. Last year, well, it's 11 years ago this year. Last year, in your 10th anniversary, you were honoured at the Big Bash, the National Lottery's Big Bash. You're given an award recognition as a lottery game changer, which is great and well deserved. So 11 years on from that first sort of round of seed funding, what is the current situation with Veterans with Dogs? How many dogs are there, for example? How many people have you helped, or anything you'd like to say?
So we have now reached 93 partnerships. So that's assistance dogs that work directly with veterans. We've worked with hundreds of veterans now over the years. It's been life-changing for many, many people, and not just the veterans themselves, but the families, and even more importantly as well, their children. It's made a huge, dramatic difference, and that has been down to the funding from the National Lottery and then all the support that we've received from everybody else along the way in our development. We can't keep up with demand, so we must be doing something right.
Brilliant. That's awesome. What a lovely way to frame it.